Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
Our podcast will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every other week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Sneakers.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Hey, Natalie, how are you?
I'm good.
All right, you ready to watch and talk about Sneakers?
Mm-hmm.
Sneakers came out in 1992 with a runtime of 2 hours and 6 minutes. It's not streaming anywhere. You have to rent it on Amazon. It was written by Phil Alden Robinson, Lawrence Lasker, and Walter F. Parks. And directed by Phil Alden Robinson. That's a lot of names right there. It's long names for the writers and directors. Main stars are Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, and Sidney Poitier. This is probably one of the most talented casts we've watched on the pod. Robert Redford and Sidney Poitier are icons. Poitier was the first African-American actor to win an Academy Award. Ben Kingsley won an Academy Award. Each member of the crew, even Liz, has been nominated for an Oscar. And James Earl Jones, Vader himself, shows up at the end. And he's got an EGOT. So what'd you think of that movie, Nat?
It was alright.
Oh, alright.
It's alright.
What do you give it?
I give it 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars? You really didn't like it?
It was very mid.
Very mid. Alright. I have a feeling this is going to be the shortest podcast ever. It's going to be 7 minutes long.
No. Why didn't we get into the recap?
The movie begins with a flashback to 1969. Cosmo and Marty are in college hacking into rich bank accounts and giving money to the disenfranchised. Marty goes out for pizza, and as he returns, the cops grab Cosmo. Cosmo goes to jail where he ends up dying, and Marty escapes to Canada. This part of the movie I really don't like, because when Cosmo is getting arrested, Marty's looking at him from outside, and then Cosmo's screaming out Marty's name. What, did he want his friend to be arrested too?
Yeah, that's not a real friend.
Yeah, right off the bat you go, what kind of guy does it? You would be like, give a silent, go away situation because the cops are here,
Yeah.
to help Marty escape. But he's screaming for Marty.
Or just wouldn't say anything.
Right. It would just be like a goodbye wave or something like that, as opposed to trying to get him busted. In the present day, Marty is now the head of a crew breaking into a bank. The crew consists of Kreese, an ex-CIA member, Mother, a tech expert, Whistler, a blind surveillance expert, and Carl, the young guy who does everything else.
I don't know why he's called Mother.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's like his nickname. I wonder if anybody's real name, right? Whistler's probably not his real name. Maybe Kreese is his real name, but everybody else uses code names. They blow a smoke bomb in the safety deposit box to distract the security guy. It works, and the crew gets inside the bank and transfers $100,000 into a new account. The next morning, Marty withdraws all the money and gives it to a bank executive. The team was hired by the bank to check for security weaknesses. That's kind of a cool job, right?
You get to break into places as your job.
Yeah, and if you get caught, then you're like, well, I work for the bank. Yeah. So. Back at the offices, 2 NSA operatives, Buddy and Dick, want to hire the crew for a job. Marty turns them down. He doesn't like working for the government. They begin talking about each member's criminal past and tells Marty that they know his true identity and give him his wanted sign from his college days.
Uh-oh.
They give Marty their card and then leave.
Now he's been blackmailed.
No, he's being blackmailed. Marty visits the NSA office where Buddy and Dick tell him about the job. They think a cryptographer named Dr. Janik has received a grant from Russia to create a little black box used for espionage. The NSA offers Marty $75,000 to retrieve the box. If Marty declines, they threaten to throw him in jail. Not much of a choice there, right?
Yeah.
Marty goes back to the crew with the deets, and they agree to do it. Afterwards, Marty goes and visits Liz and asks her to go to Janik's lecture with her. Janik is talking about numbers that can be used to crack codes. At the reception, Marty and Liz greet Gregor, an old Cold War Russian spy. He invites him to a symphony. Janik gets approached by Dr. Ryshkov, and they leave together.
I don't understand. The whole point of the code from the thing is like, oh, it's too many numbers for the machine will break. Can't you just spam your keyboard until it's too many numbers and the thing breaks?
I think it'd be infinite numbers. You'd have to do it for the rest of your life.
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think it's that difficult to program a computer to have infinite numbers.
But they have to have like a sense. It's not like you're just holding a 4 down and pressing it forever.
Well, if you tell a computer, put random numbers for infinity, then I'm pretty sure it's going to do that.
Oh, and then that can be used to break codes?
Yes.
Maybe all of this is made up logic. So I don't know if big numbers so large can actually be used.
I think I can break into the mainframe.
I think the mainframe from Weird Science.
I've got this now.
Yeah. Just first thing you're going to do, break into your high school mainframe?
Yes.
And change all your grades for you and your friends?
Yes, I'm looking at you, English.
At Janek's office, the team is watching on camera. Janek is working when Dr. Ryshkov comes over and they start making out. The team goes over the recorded footage trying to get Janek's password. Then Whistler hears that he has an answering service and suspects that the answering machine in his office is the little black box. Marty, with Carl's help, gets into Janek's office. He gets to the box, and after a little interference from Dr. Ryshkov, he's home free. That night, the crew party it up. Whistler and Mother begin messing with the black box. Inside, they find a wire, which is peculiar. They attach the wire to encrypted websites, like the Federal Reserve, and it decrypts everything. Priest freaks out, closes down the shop, and stands guard with his gun. They didn't know what the box was for, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, they realize they can get into anything. The next morning, Marty and Kreese go to drop off the box. While Marty meets with Buddy and Dick, Kreese sees a headlight that Janek's been murdered. He immediately calls Marty over and they drive off. They stop by the NSA offices, and the building they were in is demolished. They do their research and find out that the grant was not from Russia, but from the real NSA. They've been played.
What?
Yeah. Do you think they were going to kill him right there? It looks like he was putting his hand inside a newspaper to like grab maybe a gun or maybe the money.
I think they were going to kill him.
Yeah.
And my point of the story is they should have killed him. They could have still shot them while they were in the car.
That's why I'm thinking they weren't going to kill him. I don't know if they were going to give him the money, but...
No, I think they should have just killed him.
Yeah. I don't know.
They could have shot him in the car. You know, I write notes sometimes and then I don't know what I'm saying. And then you say the recap and then I'm like, oh, I know what I'm saying.
What was the note that you wrote?
So the note was, could have shot him in the car. And I'm like, there's so many cars in this movie.
Right.
What am I like thinking of? And then you said that and I was like, oh my gosh. You should have caught him, shot him in the car.
Yeah. But at that point, they already got the box. It didn't matter. They were just trying to get away and survive. Yeah, I don't know. Marty goes to Gregor wondering if Buddy and Dick were Russian agents. Gregor tells him no. Then the FBI pulls them over. They frisk Marty and find Kreese's gun. They find out that they aren't really the FBI when Buddy comes out and shoots Gregor and knocks out Marty.
My point is, they already knew it wasn't the real FBI because the guy was like, I'll offer you protection, blah, 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 blah. Right? And they knew that it wasn't real. Why did they just keep driving?
No, he thought it was the FBI. He's offering him protection from the American government.
I don't think so.
As a Russian, he was going to like protect him and he was going to be like a Russian citizen.
I think they knew it.
Then why would they stop? Exactly.
That's my point. They should have just kept going.
Unless they thought it was the FBI. It didn't say like, here comes the FBI. He just imagined it was the FBI. That's what he assumed it was the FBI.
Even the FBI. Why wouldn't you just run from the FBI?
Because you can't just run away from the FBI.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, get pulled over later and ran off the road and killed.
I don't think so.
Anyway, so poor Gregor's dead now. And they knock out Marty and put him in the trunk of a car. When Marty wakes up in that trunk, he hears a lot of different sounds. Then Buddy sees him when he opens the trunk and knocks him out again.
He should have pretended to be asleep.
Yeah, he should have, right? Marty wakes up in a fancy office. It belongs to Cosmo. He's alive and works for the mob.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. He asks Marty to join him to change the world together. He wants to destabilize all the markets and reset all money and capital. Marty thinks Cosmo is mad. Cosmo then frames Marty for the murder of Gregor, knocks him out again, and drops off in San Francisco. Why wouldn't Marty want to go for the whole, let's destroy the world?
Well, maybe he's just not built like that.
Well, they were in 1969. I mean, they grew up, right?
I mean, but even then, they weren't really trying to destroy the world. They just wanted to crap on the establishment.
Right, but that would be the number one way to do it, to reset capital. No more establishment.
Well,
destroy all the banks. Destroy all credit.
I don't think so.
Marty and his crew set up shop at Liz's house. The team decides to turn themselves in. They call Abbott, who's the director of operations at the real NSA. He won't make a deal if they don't have the box. They realize they had to get the box back. With the help of Whistler, Marty remembers the sounds he heard in the trunk when he was abducted. The sounds lead them to a place called Playtronics. Surveillance begins and the crew realize that it's well secured. There's a key card to get into the building and it has vocal recognition. In addition, the room has motion and thermal sensors. You like the up-to-date, awesome technology of 1992? Like a voice. We have Alexa now, right? We can talk to her anytime we want. But back then, they're like, ooh, voice recognition? That's amazing.
Even your phone, it's facial recognition just to get into your phone.
Right. So
I mean, mine has a fingerprint. I'm doing high-tech scanners every single day.
I know. 1992 would be like shocked by how amazing stuff we have now, right?
Like, now what would they have to do? Like,
oh, yeah. It'd be like your blood or something like that. Yeah. What do you see in the movie?
Scan.
Retina scan. With the retina scan, they could do that. I mean, they have facial recognition. Why couldn't they do retina scan?
Why couldn't they do a facial recognition there? That would have been more effective.
1992?
Yeah.
They didn't have that technology, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but they probably didn't have vocal recognition either.
Did. That was amazing.
They could have done it.
Yeah, they had to be kind of realistic. I don't know. Anyways, to begin, they need to get a key card and a recording of the password from an employee. Werner Brandon, who works in the room right next to Cosmos. They set up an online date with him and Liz. On the date, Liz records his voice and gets his key card so the heist can begin. First, Carl gets into the office dressed as a gardener. He gets to the HVAC system and begins to raise the temperature of Cosmos' office to 98.6 degrees. That's a human temperature, right? Marty comes in with Werner's card while Liz keeps him company at his house. Marty gets to Werner's office and climbs through the vents to get into Cosmos' office next door. Once inside, Marty can only move 2 inches per second.
This is stupid.
Why?
Because here's why.
I can't wait to hear it and then destroy your logic.
When you're nervous, you get warmer. So his body temperature definitely increased above 98.6 degrees. So you can clearly see the 99 heat temperature walking around in the room.
What are you talking about? You don't get a temperature rise in your blood.
Yes, you do.
You get hotter when you're nervous?
Yes.
Like you have a fever?
Yes.
We're going to have to fact check that. I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
No.
I mean, then anybody who's nervous, they go to the hospital. You're nervous when you go to the doctor's office. You all have a fever.
Exactly.
Well, no, that's not how it works. You never have a fever unless you're sick.
Well, you're not that nervous.
If you are a medical professional out there and know this to be truth or a complete falsehood, please email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. That's your thing? That's where you're coming in?
No, because people don't get nervous like that at the doctor. They get nervous, but they don't get nervous like, oh, I'm going to get shot nervous. Like
98.6 degrees. My thing, that's hot. That's really, really, really hot.
I think that's my normal body temperature.
Yes, but if you're outside, it's 98 I get 100 degrees almost.
And you're going to be hotter because it's hot in the room. So you're going to be...
No, it's the same temperature as your body.
No, because you're going to go up. If you're the same temperature, you don't just you don't just turn into mush along with the walls. You raise in temperature.
Well, he didn't sweat either. You would think he'd be sweating, right?
Yeah, so this is stupid.
Actually, only the sweat part. Everything else he said, ridiculous.
It's too hot for him to be. You know how when people are hot, their temperature rises.
Once again, medical professionals, please reach out to us.
That's the same thing.
Warner begins to get suspicious of Liz and takes her to Playtronics. Cosmo comes to meet them with Buddy and Dick. They investigate Warner's office and everything looks fine. Marty has the box and it's in the air vents. Then Cosmo gets suspicious and goes to his office and finds the box missing. He activates the alarm.
It's all her fault. She needs to stop talking.
She should have never went with him. What was he going to do? Kidnap her?
Yeah. Honestly, she could have just like killed him or something.
No, just stay in the car. What was he going to do? Drag her out?
Yeah. Because he was like, let's go for a little drive. And then she went in the car. And then like she clearly saw they were going not for a little drive.
Right.
So like, wouldn't you like scream? Maybe punch. Well, probably not punch him in the face because he's driving. But like, be like, stop the car. Get out. Do something. Run away. Like,
yeah.
There's so many places where she could have left.
Yeah.
And then
her crew is in the parking lot. Like it's above the parking lot.
Yeah.
So they're not far away. She's just like, I'm just going to stay here. I don't care. My boss is coming out. I'm like, I'm walking out. I'm not going to deal with anything like that. This is like an abduction. Or call the police, right?
Yeah. 911.
Or you're like, I'm going to call the... Well, she didn't have a cell phone, but she could have thought, I'm going to call the police right now if you don't take me home. All right. The guards all come in looking for Marty. Cosmo tells him on the intercom he'll hurt Liz if he doesn't come out. Marty comes out and they talk. Cosmo then leaves and orders his men to kill them both. Right before Buddy shoots them, Carl jumps from the air vents and saves them both. The team begin their escape and Whistler has to do some fancy driving while Kreese does some fancy fighting. Right before they leave, Cosmo points a gun at Marty. Marty gives him the box and leaves. Then Cosmo looks inside and realizes it's a fake.
This is predictable and also stupid. There's no way he would just normally give them the box. I knew as soon as he's like, fine, you have it. I'm like, no, he does not have it.
He had a gun pointed at him.
No, but he
gave him the box earlier.
No.
He gave him the box earlier when he came down the vents.
No.
He did. They had the box.
Yeah, well, they already did a switcheroonie.
Yeah.
It's so clearly predictable.
Okay, he realizes it's a fake. And then why didn't he just like, okay, let's go, guys. Get all the people in the car. He has a mob behind him.
Why did this guy think to check the box?
Yeah. Nobody checks the box. Back at the crew's base, Abbott and the real NSA come and demand the box. They ask for some nice bribes and eventually turn over the box to them. After the NSA leaves, Marty shows them he still has the microchip from inside the box. Then a news program comes on reporting some disenfranchised programs getting anonymous donations. The end. Now, I get the NSA not knowing because they don't know what was in the box.
Yeah.
When he said it doesn't work for Russian codes, he's like, this box doesn't exist. We're just going to get rid of it anyways. No way the NSA doesn't use the box.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to use it, even if it's for spying on themselves, right? And then also, they're never going to be able to figure it out because he has the microchip. So, the end. Good movie. I liked it. Great actors. Amazing cast. The most Academy Award nominees ever in a cast. And yeah. You know, I was watching a documentary on We Are the World is a song. And Dan Aykroyd, who plays Whistler in the movie, he's in there. And I don't even know why he's there. He's not even a singer. But he's like at the top and he's singing along with everybody. Isn't that funny? He was there by a mistake or something like that.
I know. It's funny when you see like random famous people in other places. Like Justin Bieber's music video, like Baby, like the viral one. Uh-huh. I was watching it a long time ago. And I just saw like Drake was just there. Like he was just playing, like he was bowling with them. And I was like, what the heck is he doing here?
That is kind of funny. All right. Can this movie still be made today?
Yeah, probably.
Is there anything that you hasn't aged well or want to talk about?
I just have a question.
Okay.
How can you have a Playboy magazine in Braille?
So the biggest joke about Playboy magazines is that when people have Playboy magazines and you're like, why do you like Playboys? And then the biggest thing that people always say is, I get Playboy for the articles because they're known for having good articles. But nobody gets Playboy for the articles. Although now Playboys don't have naked people in them. I think they're just
It's just articles. A fashion brand?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if Playboy magazines are still happening, but there was a time where they took out
Playboy
the nudes.
Is a huge clothing brand now.
It was probably back in the day too. But I'm saying it's a magazine that had articles with actual writers and cartoonists, like talented writers that would write in there. So he was probably reading an article. That's what I'm saying.
But like they made a point to show the cover, and I was like, "What the heck, man?"
Yeah, I don't know. It is funny. Is it like the shape of a woman? Like, do they just make the outline of her body?
No, it was just like like the cover was like black or like gray. It was like a color with like maybe like a pattern or something on it, and then the front said like Playboy.
This is the second week in a row that we talk about Playboy magazines.
It's in all the movies.
It's in all the movies. It's a household name. All right. Anything else?
They were all kind of racist to the CIA man. I don't remember his name, but the CIA guy.
Oh yeah, the bad guys. The bad guys were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, also, if you want to make someone evil, just make them a racist. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that you can make someone evil. You can make them racist. You can make them abuse an animal. Like, those are all the things to make him bad. Like, he was meant to be bad.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if that's like not to be made today, because it's not like it was like a main character being racist. It was like an evil guy.
Right. It's like a trope to make him a bad guy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think that really.
And it wasn't
affects
even
the
no
movie.
one. It wasn't a character, right? It was just a security guard that says it.
I don't know. There's like a few, but they're all evil people.
Yeah, they're all on the bad side. All right. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
No.
All right. Bechdel test is a test for female representation in movies. There are 3 criteria. Criteria number 1, are there 2 or more named females?
There's Liz, and I don't know any other ones.
Dr. Reichkoff. Janek's girlfriend that they make out with.
Oh, yeah. And then there's that girl at the very end. I don't know her name, but when the youngin asked
Carl.
for her number.
He asked for her number. All I want is that girl's number. And she's like, you can have anything in the world. You want my number? He's like, yeah. And then she gives it to him, right? Like, he's flattered, right? And then he's like, I'll pick you up like 8 o'clock for dinner or something like that.
And the main guy that was talking to them, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I thought, you know what? I like the scene where he goes, oh, and Tahiti. He's like, Tahiti's not in Europe. And the guy's like, once you get to the chip, you can give us geography lessons. But until then, let this man go to Tahiti. That's funny. Okay, so criteria number 2, do the female characters talk to each other?
I don't think so.
Nope, there's nothing. No talking at all. It is a bomb.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I don't think they talk to each other. No, they don't even see each other. They're never in the same room together. And Dr. Reichkoff was like a quick throwaway character with nothing important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's only one character that really is Liz. All right, so it does not pass the Bechdel test. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Nope.
Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app, or like us on YouTube.
We put out an episode every Monday.
If you want to see extra podcast content, follow our TikTok at Papi Approved Movies.
If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
that's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion. And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, Sophia will be back and we'll be watching Swingers.
And I'll be back in 2 weeks to watch Reality Bites.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.